Okay, guys, we're gonna fill in the unit circle, right? So to have a unit circle, the radius has to be 1. You have to remember that, right? So here you're always gonna start out with 1, comma 0. That's to the right. To the left is negative 1, comma 0. Then upward, the y is gonna change. So then you're gonna have 0, comma 1 because y upward is positive. Going down here, 0, comma negative 1 for the y. And we already assured that we have a unit circle, right? So now all these outer points, right? We're all gonna divide it by 2. And all you need is quadrant 1. So you're gonna copy paste. So divide everything by 2. Divide everything by 2. Divide everything by 2. And I'm just gonna start here, right? Now, on the left side over here, on the right side over here, you start at 0 for sine. That means you start counting 1, 2, 3. Same concept here. For cosine, you start at 0 over here on top. 1, 2, 3. And then all you do is just square root the 3's and the 2's. Leave the 1 without a square root. And there you go. So now you would just copy, paste over here, but you have to remember you have to switch signs. So divide by 2, 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 divide by 2. And then 1, square root of 3. Over here, to the left, x is negative. So negative x, and then 0, 1, 2, 3. Square root, right? 0, 1, 2. Square root of 2. Now, downward, right? So divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. And then again, start at 0, 1, 2, 3. Start at 0 for the x, 1, 2, 3. Square root of 3, square root of 2, square root of 2, and square root of 3. Only on the numerator, right? Now here, x is negative, y is negative, so negative for both, right? Copy, paste, so divide everything by 2. Divide everything by 2, divide everything by 2, divide everything by 2. And again, sine is 0, so count 1, 2, 3. Cosine is 0, so 1, 2, 3. Square root, square root, square root, square root. The 3's and the 2's. There you go. Those are your coordinate points, right? So now, everything inside, if I can switch color, right? So you won't get confused. Here, forget about the degrees. Let's focus on the radians. Pi, pi, pi. Everything is pi on the numerator. Alright? Pi, 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 pi. Alright? Even the 0, right, has a pi, but we just label it as 0. And then you end up at 2 pi over here. So now, you want to start off with 6, and you have 4, and then you have 3, right? Copy paste, same denominators. 3, 4, 6. So then 6, 4, 3, and 3, 4, 6. This one's already completed. What about over here, right? So here you're gonna take 1 less than the denominator. So here I have 3, now it becomes 2, right? And then over here you have 4, now you have 3. Here you have 6, now it becomes 5. And then here is where you're gonna add 1 more. So instead of having 6, now you're gonna have 7. Instead of 4, you have 5. Instead of 3, you have 2. And then over here, just remember, right, our little slogan or whatever you want to call it. You have $5 to go to 7-Eleven. So 5, 7, 11. But don't forget about the 4 main points that we started with, right? So at 1, 0, 0 radians, or when you complete 1 revolution, 2 pi. Over here, 90 degrees, this is pi over 2, right? Over here, when you take half of this circle, well, what's half of 2 pi? Well, it's just pi. And then over here, when you take pi over 2 plus pi over 2 plus pi over 2, you end up with 3 pi over 2. And there you go, right? So what else did I mention? the graphs, right? I think it was the graphs. So for the graphs, you go based off this point, and I'm just gonna mark them. This point, this point, this point, and back to where you started. So when you do the graph, right, hopefully you're able to see this, right? When you start the graph, you start off at 0, right? Then you end up at 2 pi. What's half of 2 pi? What's pi? What's half of pi? What's this one? Pi over 2. And what's half, if you add pi over 2 plus pi over 2 plus pi over 2, you end up again at 3 pi over 2. 3 pi over 2. So boom, 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 and boom. The first one you want to graph is sine. Sine starts at 0, so it starts at 0, ends at 0, right? So here sine is 0 because it's the second number. And then over here it's also 0, right? And when you come back to 2 pi, it's also 0. So pi is also 0 because of this. Now, at sine pi over 2, it's positive 1. At 3 pi over 2, it's negative 1. So first it's going to go up here, right? And then it's going to come down over here. So this graph goes up first, and then goes down. And it should look a little something like that. Da-da. If you graph cosine though, the same concept. You start at 0 and at 2 pi. And you finish here by taking half of 2 pi is pi. Then over here again it's 3 pi over 2. And then it's pi over 2. Right? So again, it's based on this point right here, this top point, this left side over here, this bottom one, and back over here. Right? That's where I'm getting all of these from. So cosine starts at 1, so it starts up here because look, at 0 pi, I'm already at 1. At pi over 2, I'm at 0. So then here it's going to be 0. At pi, I'm where? Or negative 1. And then at 3 pi over 2, I'm back up at 0. And then at 2 pi, I'm back to 1. So again, where you start, that's where you end. So it should look a little something like this. And that is basically it. So take a good look at it. Something really nice. Hopefully you guys are able to see through here, right? Hopefully all these lines here don't mess you up, but that's it. Good luck.